Maabjerg in Denmark is home to one of the largest biogas plants in the world, combined with a large cogeneration plant. Using manure from the local farming community, the biogas produces heat and electricity to supply to 20,000 local households. The process uses the generator's waste heat in addition to the power from the electric generators. Knud Schusburg, the director of the biogas facility, is the man responsible for the plant.
Our policy target in Denmark is to be 50% free of fossil fuels by 2035. We're trying to get a grip on climate change. That's what it's all about here.
Væk fra fossil fuels, og det er jo det drejer sig om nu her, for at få styr på klimaforandringerne.
The system is simple. Trucks pick up biomass from farmers in the region on a daily basis. The truck has a hose that sucks the slurry up out of the waste holding tank. The farmers also benefit from this because after their slurry has been degasified, it's returned to them as high-quality fertilizer. It's a cycle that's of use to everyone.
What's most important to a farmer is how he relates to nature as its manager. He looks after great natural wealth and resources, so it's important to a farmer to manage them in such a way that he can hand it on to society and on to the next generation when he is no longer around.
About 130 farmers deliver raw material to the plant. At the biogas plant, the trucks pump the biomass through hoses into a holding container or tip it into the plant via the unloading ramp. Some 450,000 tons a year of slurry and other agricultural waste products are delivered here. Then it takes about a month to process the slurry into biogas. But first, the driver fills a small glass with a slurry sample. In the laboratory, each farm's slurry is chemically analysed to measure how much dry material it contains. This is important because it determines how much fertilizer is later delivered back to each farmer. Then the actual process can begin. First, the slurry is heated to sanitize it and kill off all bacteria. Then it goes into the fermentation tank for 24 days, where the gas is produced. Here it's also important to maintain high temperatures of up to 70 degrees in order to accelerate the formation of methane. Knud and his colleague can monitor the process through a hatch.
First and foremost, this is a climate project. The project allows us to reduce our CO2 emissions here in the region. And that is the major benefit, if we look at it from society's point of view.
The plant produces 18.6 million cubic meters of biogas a year. That reduces annual CO2 emissions significantly by replacing fossil fuels, a success story for the region. The gas can be stored for 4 days in 2 large gas holders. The system in Maabjerg is above all one thing: it is efficient. Due to the use of the waste heat from the generators through cogeneration, the facility is able to convert some 95% of its biomass into energy. This reduces fossil energy consumption on the whole, and thus also reduces CO2 emissions. Finally, the trucks drive back to the farms to return their slurry, now in the form of fertilizer. And the great thing about this fertilizer is that it contains 75% less phosphorus, reducing the environmental burden from intensive pig farming in the region.
Yes, it's true. If there weren't people like Knud, we could never have started a project like this. There has to be someone who gets it going, someone who recognizes the opportunities and is ready to put in the resources needed. Clearly, that was essential. It's always a pleasure to work on something concrete, something that you can actually see and that gives you tangible results. This way, we can actually change things.